Hello. I have too many needles. They just get collected. Okay, so if you haven't seen my stories, I am all caught up. Look at this. I ended up doing a couching stitch right above the top in brown, but I got my lettering done from yesterday and I did my open sign. Well, I did the words. So anyways, 100% caught up. It's very exciting. We'll see if it happens again during this stitch along. Okay, so today we're gonna do the rest of the door and we're gonna do the table and chair. So that's what we're doing today. Okay, let me get out my threads. I'm gonna use both browns and black. So from the darker color palettes, 3031, 3863, 310. And then the blue is, hold please, I have too many things open. Okay, so if you're doing the blue, it's gonna be the B5200, which is white, the 3782, and 310. You could mix the 420 with the 3782 if you want. We're gonna mix the two browns for the table and the back of the chair to do like kind of a wood grain. So if you want to do that with the blue Bookshop, I would mix 3782 with the 420. Or don't mix it, you don't have to do that either if you don't want to. All right. Oh, actually, hang on. I have to decide what color to do the window. I think I'm just gonna do white. So I'm gonna get my white out as well. Those four. Okay. All right, let's start with the door. I'm just gonna keep it the same color, but if you want a colored door, you can, or you could do dark colors. I'm just gonna do the brown. I'm gonna do the window first. I mean, the sign, I'm gonna do the sign first. Okay, so I'm gonna do mine in red. I have all the colors today. Here is I got everything cleaned up. Look at this. It's all wound up instead of in a big pile in my bag. It's so great. Okay. All right, so this lettering, I did a single strand. By the way, if you haven't done yours yet, you might need one strand instead of two, like we did up here. All right. We're just gonna do a lot of straight stitches today. But I think that order matters a little bit, especially like when we're doing the window and stuff. So, all right, I am going to use the red, which is 321, to outline this. Do we have a gray? I don't remember. Oh, we do. Okay, I'm also going to use the gray. I'm going to use every single color today. So I'm just gonna do straight stitches. So what I like to do sometimes is lay my thread down where I'm gonna stitch to make sure where I want it to go. Because if I do it down straight, then it's like doesn't have like that quirky like off center. But if I can kind of lay it down and then decide where to put my needle down, then I feel like I can control how it looks a little bit better. So just super simple straight stitches to outline this. Remember where your knot is. okay? And then I'm gonna do the gray. I actually might do the window panes gray too, as if they were like metal. I don't have to change colors quite so many times. All right, so the gray I'm using is 648. The gray for the other color palette, oh, it's also 648. It's one of my favorite grays. It's like a good gray. All right, I'm gonna use 2 strands. I don't really want it to stick out too much. I really want it to be like in the background. So I'm just gonna use 2 strands for it. Okay. So same thing, we're just gonna do a bunch of straight stitches. Now, if there wasn't an open sign, I'd probably do like a basket weave situation, but that'll just get messy if we try to do that right now. All right, so I'm gonna start up here and do the window pane and then the open sign, like triangle as well. And I'm gonna go, you could go straight across, but I'm gonna stop in every where each line meets, just to give those a little bit more, keep those a little bit more secure. They won't be quite as long of stitches, so they'll be less likely to like look floppy. But you could totally just do one straight one across and one straight one down, one straight one down if you want to. I don't want to. All right, so now we gotta do our sign. Okay. And we'll come down here and do the same thing. That line's not very straight. This shouldn't take too long. This is like really, should be pretty quick. That line's not super straight, so I'm trying to watch where I'm coming up to keep that nice and straight. Up. All right, and then one more. Oops, I came up in that red. Okay. And we will tie this off, and then we will do the rest of the door. Sometimes, so I don't have a weird tail sticking out, I'll kind of weave this under something. Okay. And then I'm gonna do the rest in the same brown that I have the rest of my building in, which is the 3863. And I want this to be slightly thicker than the window pane, so I'm going to do 3 strands. Now I always do the inner stitches first. Like, I don't want to outline it and then do these, because then I'm trying to like work around these outside stitches. So I always will do like the inside first and then do the outer stitches. And I know other people that do it the opposite way, but I prefer this way. So if you want to do it a different way, totally go for it. And then we're gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna come over. Now, if you get these stitches on here and then you decide that they are not holding quite where you wanted them to be, if they're feeling a little bit not quite secure, you could always do a couched stitch in the middle, or do a few couched stitches. You know, do one at each window pane. I don't think that these are too long. I'm not super worried about it. And then I'm just going to do the same thing down here. I'm just going to outline this section. I'm going to do all of these vertical lines first, and then I will go across the top and bottom. I think this is a nice way to keep things like super simple but still look visually appealing. We definitely could have gone in and like satin stitched this, but I don't know. I felt like it would just be really heavy on the stitching, and I wanted to keep it a little lighter, I guess. My lines are not quite straight. Okay, there's the door. She's done. I don't have that very tight in my hoop stand, so it is like falling out. I gotta put this back in my hoop stand, but sometimes I have really hard time recommending hoop stands because I have not found any that I love. This one is not love. I have like 2 others that are not love. I haven't found one that I like really well. I don't think any of them work great. Okay, I think it's a little bit more secure. Okay, so we're gonna move on to over here. Pretty much the same as what we've been doing, except we'll do kind of more of a satin stitch for the table top and the chair bottom and the chair back. So I'm gonna get 2 strands of each, 2 strands of the 30-31 and 2 strands of the 38-63, and we'll do a satin stitch just so there's a little bit of contrast, like a wood grain might look. If it's looking too dark, you could do 3 in 1 instead of like 3 of the lighter and 1 of the darker, or 3 of the darker, 1 of the lighter, depending on how you are feeling and how you want it to look. I think 2 and 2 will be pretty good. And if not, then we can always redo it. I need to put some of these back on my desk. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 5 needles up here. The insanity. I don't need that many. They like migrated. I was working at my desk, and so my needles from my desk made their way over here. All right, so I've got all 4 strands, the 2 colors of brown in my needle, and then I just tie them together. So it's just like you're using just a regular 4 strands. And we're just gonna satin stitch. So we've already satin stitched up here, so we're gonna do just the same thing down here, except when I get to these lines, I'm gonna leave a gap so that it'll look like wood slats. So we'll intentionally leave little gaps. So you could also count how many you're doing, so each one is even if you wanted. So that's 3, 4, 5, and then I'm just gonna leave a little gap. So normally I would come up here, but instead I'm gonna come up here and just leave that little bit of a gap between. Instead of going down there, I'm gonna go over and just leave just a little gap. It's pretty hard to see on the video, especially because you can still see the line. But then we'll just count and make sure our slats are even. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're gonna skip that spot and go over one more. Oh, that's down too far. Oh man, this is looking crooked. Hang on. I didn't like that stitch. Okay, come straight down. There we go. I was just off a little tiny bit. Oh my gosh, that one was too long. My line, oh my gosh. Hold on, my line is not even. And I don't want to redo this. Get to the end and think, yep, gotta redo that, okay. Try that again. If it's looking a little bit crooked as you're stitching, it's gonna look a lot crooked when you're done. Just stop, take a minute, undo 2 or 3 stitches, otherwise you'll get to the end and need to take out a whole bunch. That's 4. That's 5. And we're gonna skip and go one more. I made cinnamon rolls today. They just came out of the oven and my house smells incredible. Should we incorporate 2 colors for the table on the pastel pattern? If you want to. I I would do the 420 with the 3782, or you could do yeah, if you're gonna do two and you just have those colors, I would do 3782 with 420. But you definitely don't have to. You can just do one color. Anyways, when I'm done here, I'm gonna go make frosting for my cinnamon rolls. And I have bagels that I need to bake. Oh man, those are off too. Shoot. We're coming up on the weekend, which means my kids will eat all 3 meals at home. So I like to bake like on Thursdays and Fridays so that they have like extra little things to eat while they're home. I don't think that's quite straight. So I think I'm gonna do cheese bagels. Then they can get a little bit of protein with their carbs. I've been trying to make like different kinds of bagels, and they always like gobble up the cheddar ones. The other ones just get left for so long. So I need to just do all cheddar. Almost done with this. I'm gonna just stitch the table and let you do the chair on your own. It's gonna be the same concept, just in a different direction. 3. Four. 5. All right. So we're gonna do that same thing down here for our chair. And we're just gonna stitch right over the top of that stitch there. So it's gonna be the exact same, just in a different direction. So we're gonna be at an angle and go just across that stitch we did for the building. Okay, and then the same thing up here, just do stitches right across the top. All right, and then let's do the table legs. More straight stitches. We're not super exciting today. Okay, so depending on how thick you want it, you could lay this down and kind of look. This is 4 strands. I think that's a little bit thick for me, in my opinion. I'm gonna do 3. I still want them to look sort of delicate. I like that better. So kind of test it out. You don't have to stitch it to kind of test out what you want to do. Just, you know, grab a piece of thread and stick it up there. Okay. So I'm gonna come like that. And come straight down here. And then I'm gonna come and do this other side. Make sure that's the angle I wanna go. And then we're gonna come over here and do the same thing, except I'm gonna weave around this just a little. So I'm gonna go on top of this one and under this one, just so it'll hold our stitches a little bit more securely. So then this one, I'm gonna go over this one and under this one. And we're gonna come down here and connect our two. Actually, I'm gonna come down here. Because now, since I came down here and went up, now my trailing thread will be behind this versus down here where it's not like painted or having any other stitches. There. Now you could come and outline this if you wanted, or do like kind of like the black metal between these maybe. It wasn't feeling like it was looking complete to me, but I think I like this black. Yeah, I like that better. Maybe just like a little stitch under those. Yeah, I like that. What do we think? Yes? Done? Okay, I will sit here and finish my chair really quick, and then I'll post this to my stories so that you can see them together. But that is it for me. I really like this black in between, so I'm going to do that on the chair as well. I'll stitch. I might do one more strand, one more stitch, and make these 4, and then do a black one in between. Okay, that is it for me today. We will be back tomorrow. I think we're gonna do some of the flower pots tomorrow, and then we'll leave all the flowers and books for next week. So, all right, you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Bye.